Welcome to the C.S. Joseph podcast. I'm your host, C.S. Joseph, and today we're going to be doing yet another ENTP-related acolyte question, which is pretty cool. Today's question is, how do I help an ENTP feel more comfortable with me? How do you gain their trust? Oof, that is super in-depth and a great question. So there's a lot here. There's really a lot to unpack. But if you really want to make an ENTP feel more comfortable, that's their SI inferior, you really have to, you could directly do that if you're like in close proximity and like make things convenient for them, make things comfortable for them, offer things to them consistently. That's like a really, really big deal. But really, the thing is, though, is that you may not really have that opportunity, or maybe they've closed themselves off to you, or they're not really willing to talk to you anymore, or something negative happened between you and them, and they're just like, what? And they're like, F off, or don't talk to me, or I don't feel safe around you, I'm not comfortable around you, etc. And then they just end up, moving on. Well, if that's the situation, there's really one thing you can do. You need to take advantage, there's two, because SI inferior is in an inferior slot, and the question is relating to SI inferior because it's a comfort. So you really only have one option, and that is to utilize cognitive axis as your strategy, okay? So basically, you need to make the ENTP feel wanted. You need to go to any hero and be like, hey, I need to demonstrate to you that I want you, because then SI inferior will start to open up. So the thing about ENTPs is that you got to realize that ENTPs, after a while, they'll learn how to door slam people, but it's never really actually a true door slam, much like INTJs or INFJs, because INJs have to door slam in order to keep themselves sane, in order to keep themselves healthy. But with ENTPs, it's more of like a ghost. They're like ghosting. They're not really door slamming, but the bridge is always open. They didn't burn the bridge. INJs will burn the bridge, and then that bridge will have to be rebuilt, which is really hard, and probably they're like, it's not really worth the effort to me, right? But to an ENTP, we don't really burn the bridge. We just kind of close the gates. You can't cross the bridge right now. The bridge is still there, but you can't come. You see what I'm saying? So that's kind of like a more ghost approach. But really, if you want to get the ENTP to be more comfortable and to open up to you, you really got to go out of your way to make them feel wanted. It's all about being wanty. You want to be wanty towards the ENTP, and that's really how it goes. And, some examples of that would be invite them to things. Seriously, offer them invitations. Hey, I want to go do this. You should come with me. That's the ultimate NJ. I'm going to ask out an ENTP strategy. I want to go do this thing with you. You should come with me. That's it. You make that offer, right? And that's just a typical easy example to do. But it's literally just you're showing the ENTP that you desire them, you want to be around them, etc., that you are providing them benefit in some capacity, and also willing to listen to their criticism. I mean, you could just seriously just go watch the 8 Rules for Loving ENTPs episode and literally just do everything that I say in that episode, and you'll be pretty good to go. That's on the YouTube channel. It's on the podcast. Just go look up that particular season. I think it's season 26 for 8 Rules for Love, and then just watch that episode. You'll have, I think it'll help. But yeah, that's how you make an ENTP more comfortable. Now, the second half of this question is and it is related, and I normally don't let the Acolyte users put in 2 questions, but it's completely related. I'm actually glad this Acolyte member asked this as part of her question, because how do you gain ENTP's trust? So, the number one need, now it's funny because our last question was, what's most important in ENTP? But that's not necessarily the same as saying, what's the biggest need they have. The biggest need an ENTP has is trust. Trust. But it's not them trusting you, it's you trusting them. ENTPs already come off super mega creepy to other people, men and women, it doesn't matter. They're seen as weird, they're seen as awkward, they're social pariahs just by default because they're pragmatic, and you combine pragmatism with the criticism of T.I. Parent, how Effie Child gets rejected consistently, even though it's very brave of Effie Child to actually criticize you and basically tell you what's up. And I would like to thank Robert Potts for pointing that out to me recently, especially in terms of the new Effie Child article that's about to release, unless it already did release like yesterday. I don't know. But, you know, people with TI parent have to be really brave when they are criticizing someone because it's always for that person's benefit, etc. So the bottom line is that an ENTP already, in general, feels like they're not trusted. Like they're not trusted by society. They're not really trusted by anyone. People will judge a book by its cover. And to an ENTP, it's really easy for SE Demon to just assume that everybody in the whole world is super mega shallow. And they're mega shallow towards ENTPs. And they don't want to be shallow anymore. So really what you end up having to do with the ENTP is that you have to learn how to trust them. Almost to the point of giving them blind trust. Absolute blind trust, knowing that the ENTP will stick around, will not abandon you, will not reject you. You just have to be willing to be patient with them as they figure out, you know, how long it's going to take for them to actually be comfortable. Here's another thing: ENTPs oftentimes trust other people when they share with their SI inferior. They share stories about themselves. They share information about themselves with other people, and that's like a big deal. It's like a major big deal to the ENTP. Well, that's the thing though, how do you help an ENT, how do you gain their trust? Well, share things about yourself, because the ENTP will share things about you, or at least they did share things about themselves with you in the past. Why aren't you sharing anything? And this is always something like NJs have a hard time doing, because you have SI Trickster, you have SI Demon. They really suck at sharing. But if you really want ENTP to trust you and you're an NJ, you might want to talk about sharing some personal things about you with them. And then, then you're not the only person who has attack surface. You're not the only person who is at risk of being embarrassed. You're not the only person who's putting your neck out on the line by sharing private information about yourself with the ENTP. That is a concrete action you can take that proves that you trust them, okay? But that's literally it. That's how you gain an ENTP's trust, is by trusting them with concrete actions and not just words, okay? Words don't really mean that much. And the younger an ENTP is, the more they'll be willing to accept words instead of actions, especially from members from the opposite sex, for example, in relationships. But over time, as they get more bitter and jaded towards life, the ENTP's SE Demon will, and they start engaging in their SE Demon, because they're starting to learn how to use their SE Demon, because they know that if they don't use their SE Demon, they'll never be happy with their SI inferior and not really be able to use their subconscious well enough, especially me, as shadow-focused in ENTP, is that, that SE Demon will really just expect other people to not be shallow. That will expect other people to take actual concrete action to prove trust. The SE Demon will care about people's actions more than what people say, because the ENTP will realize that's the only way that they can actually be happy as a person, right? Because it's part of them having self-respect. So it's major important. But yeah, that's literally how you gain an ENTP's trust, is by being trusting with them. And that's super mega hard, especially for the golden pair of an ENTP, because they're the most paranoid of the 16 types. Their vice is paranoia. Their virtue is being trusting. They have to actually choose and be willing to take the risk of putting their necks on the line with their ENTP to show that level of trust. It's mega important that happens, okay? So keep that in mind. That's a really big deal. Okay, so that's how you gain their trust. And again, if you want to make an ENTP feel more comfortable with you, make them feel wanted. Make them feel wanted. Or if you're close to them at that point, then you can go right for the inferior and just handle all those things that would make them comfortable and convenient, basically. Don't be a burden on them. In fact, be the opposite. Be that person that removes burdens from them after you make them feel wanted. And then the ENTP will grow more and more comfortable with you, and eventually it'll create loyalty in your direction. If you're an SE user, it will create loyalty. And that's a major, major benefit to that. So yeah, that being said, folks, if you guys want to have your questions like this answered here on YouTube or on the podcast, you are definitely welcome to do so. All you have to do is go to csjoseph.life/members, become a Journeyman member, and then upgrade your Journeyman account to an Acolyte account. If you are already a Journeyman member and don't know how to upgrade your account, you can go to csjoseph.life/portal, which is our members portal, and then you can just click on the Acolyte page, and then you'll learn how to upgrade your account from there. Yep, check it out. You get one question per month to ask a video, and I will make a response video for it and share it with the rest of the audience so everyone gets to gain the benefit of your question, which is awesome. So anyway, folks, thanks for watching and listening. That's it for today. I'll see you guys next time on the C.S. Joseph podcast. And I don't know, have a good day or night, or as usual, I'll just see you guys tonight. Later.